Okay, hello, good morning. Uh, it's been a couple of days. No, it's been a while since I did another video, and I wanted to do this one because I wanted to show you something interesting. What you're looking at here is a actual size, although it's zoomed out, graphic of an 8 by 5 foot battlefield layout. This is intended for the Adepticon Schaumburg, Illinois convention and the RockCon, Rockford, Illinois convention in November. Adepticon is in March. What's interesting about this, and granted, yes, I know it's not fancy. The roads aren't fancy, the rivers aren't fancy, they just show the direction. But what's interesting is this is a large 8 by 5 table, but it's going to be played in quadrants. Here, ignore the red outline for now. This is actually what it's going to look like. There's going to be 4 battles run at the same time in each quadrant, different eras. For instance, Hex Command Nova, Hex Command Gunpowder, Hex Command Ancients, okay, and World War II. Hex Command Mechanized. So, but I wanted to also show the nuance of creating such a graphic, and in this case, we printed it on fabric. Is that with a 4 by 3 game table, which is what the red outline represents, you can see that if you just had the 8 by 5 table out there, you could move the red border around and get a multiple variety of battlefields already ready to go, at least for roads and rivers. And I know we harp on that, or I harp on that a lot, because it's incredible that the minor little thing of putting down roads and rivers could be such a disruption, or a challenge to do, right, physically, to put the little road down, to put the rivers down, to get them to be right, to get them to flow correctly, and so on and so forth, because we're adhering to the grid pattern. But here, after the graphic is done, you can see if you move it around, you can get 100 different, thousands of different battles. Like, here's the thing, right? You have to keep the orientation the same. In other words, top left corner, at least by the viewer's perspective, the top left corner has to start the pattern correctly. So it has to be a whole hex, top left corner. So as you see right here where I've got it now, the top left corner right here is a whole hex. Fine. So there we go. That's a battlefield. And then, of course, you can move it and get the next whole hex. So that's, the different look to the same kind of field layout. And so here's the default. Oh, that's interesting. I didn't know that. Oh, that's just the background. Okay, that is just the canvas. That's the background of the artwork. No problem. All right. And so yes, the software that I'm using is Canvas from Denibus Software, also known as now ACD, I believe, or is it Corel? No, it's ACD. All right. So here you see there's a battlefield, and here's another battlefield, right? And here's another one. You have to stay within the confines. So here's one relatively. There's one right there, a 4 by 3 battlefield, and another one like that. Now, granted, yeah, they're complicated. These roads and rivers could be complicated in a battlefield situation. So here's how you resolve that, right? You've printed it on fabric, and you go, well, we're stuck with it the way it is. No, you're not. All you need to do is print this background graphic without the hexes, or even with the hexes, actually, and then tape it down to the game table. Let's just do a quick little example of that. If I can, I'll capture a section of the game table. Well, you can get the idea. Okay, so then I'm going to paste it. I have to resize it to fit. All right, so you get the idea. You just have to print, obviously, on another piece of fabric, or even on paper. Actually, you could print it on paper. So take this graphic that I captured, print it on paper, and then tape it down to the cloth, and look. Especially if you print it on self-adhesive paper, it'll obliterate whatever's underneath. So you could print this in a strip and just put it on top of the road where you want the road to end, right? So you can see that's pretty cool. Anyway, so that's the idea, and you can see that here's another game table, for instance. We'll start like this, right? That, again, might be fairly complicated, and you might want to get some of these, just strips, 8.5 by 11 letter size, just the graphic. The background green, you don't need the hexes per se, because you're going to put it down, and you're going to use it to obliterate a cover over any of the roads and river sections that you don't want to have seen. Or you may want to capture a shape of a hexagon grid, or a shape at least of a strip, like 6 inches by 10 inches or something, of a road, so that you can then add a different road to the graphic, just putting it down on top of the graphic. Self-adhesive paper works pretty good. You don't want to use spray glue. Anyway, so there it is, and that's actually pretty cool. Now also, right, you notice there's no hills and there's no forests, there's no towns, fields, etc. Well, that's yes, because we don't want to. First of all, those are models that will be put on, and we didn't want to commit the field to looking a certain way. We want to have those fields and houses and everything modular, flexible, repositionable, and that's why we only dedicated roads and rivers to the graphic. Anyway, so that's the idea, and it's actually pretty cool. So there.